Alright, which of you quads is the best freaking quad ever?
How about you?
Good, but not the best. How about you? Good, but not the best. This one looks special. It even has sort of an aura around it.
I see it. The Kopis one. From Holybro.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to my channel. Today we're going over Holybro Kopis 1. This is a 220mm high performance race drone. Definitely one of the more premium quads that I've tested, which is the reason for the slightly higher than normal price tag. It is constructed using high quality products consisting mostly of Holybro branded hardware as well as a run cam. Just from the specs and seeing it up close makes me believe this is going to be a great quad. I really think this is going to be a fun one. Let's get started.
Nice. It arrived sealed up.
Okay, wow. I'm not gonna lie, I really like this case. It's even got a handle. Let's see what we get inside. Let's check the accessories first. Holybro products, a parts list,
A spare set of 50-45 bullnose props,
various accessories, battery strap, Allen wrench, rubber mat, replacement or repair parts. Looks like there are some circlips and O-rings for the motors and a few other things. Instructions for the run cam and a business card. An OSD toggle for changing your camera's settings. Some heat shrink tubing and zip ties to hold up your antenna. Here is an action camera mount and a foam piece. Not sure what the foam is for. Very cool. The Kopis is secured in place by a Velcro strap that's connected to the case. And finally, the Holybro Kopis 1.
just making sure there's nothing else in here.
Alright, let's take a closer look at all the hardware that makes up the Kopis 1.
First off, I gotta say, it definitely feels like a premium product. The frame has a smooth matte finish, and if you look close, you can see that the plates all have beveled edges. Definitely a nice touch. Detail is what makes the good great. The Kopis 1 uses a stretched X-style 220mm frame, and the next thing I think you're going to notice is just how thick the main plate is. Look at this. Holy crap. So this is what a 5mm plate looks like. 5mm is the main plate, and the top plate measures in at 2mm. Another part that I really like are the flathead screws, which brings the quad together so perfectly. It sits completely flush, which also makes it possible for you to top mount your lipos if you choose to do so. You can use the holes that's already there, which are actually meant for the GoPro mount, but I see no reason why you couldn't throw a battery on there as well, assuming that it fits, of course. This frame uses 20mm standoffs to achieve that super low profile stance. This is a great way to reduce weight as well as have a lower center of gravity, which I would assume would only be beneficial. I can't think of anything bad that would come out of this. Hey, the lower the better. And the last part of the frame, well, it's not exactly part of the frame. What I'm referring to are the LEDs, which are located on the rear of the frame. I know this isn't anything new, but I just thought it was super cool. I've always shied away from messing with the LEDs because they just seem too complicated. So it's nice to have this one already done for me. You gotta admit, it is pretty awesome. So, you are getting the latest and greatest when it comes to the ESCs. The 430 amp BL Heli 32s are bottom mounted to avoid prop strikes. They are heat shrink to the bottom of the arms along with some type of protection. You can tell that there is something there, hence the sharp corners. These ESCs are able to run D-Shot 1200. I mean, you can run the other protocols like one shot and multi-shot, but honestly, why would you? Along with the flight controller, these ESCs can easily run at 16K PID loop and 16K gyro, all the while with a low CPU load. I try keeping this number below 35%. With the Kopis, it's around 15 to 20. Powering this quad are some T-Motor Air 40s. These are 2205s which are rated at 2450 kV. They're definitely not the most powerful, but insane power is not always what people want. Some would prefer to have a moderately high powered quad with better efficiency over a ridiculously powerful quad with crap efficiency. These are actually some of the lightest motors that I've ever flown. Of course, I'm referring to the 2205s. Each motor weighs just 24 grams apiece. Times that by 4 and you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a noticeable amount of weight. These motors are the perfect in-between. It's got good power, but it's also a heck of a lot more efficient than your thrust or amp monsters out there. As a result of the lower current levels, you can expect your batteries to live longer, plus you'll probably notice a longer flight time as well. Included in this kit with the first set already pre-installed are some 5045 tri-bladed bullnose props. They are good, they're cheap, durable, and well, I was happy with the performance. The camera. It's a Runcam Swift Mini. Here's a little info on this. It's got a CCD sensor, 150 degree field of view, and it's got a 2.3mm lens. On the back of the camera, they've already attached an adapter that lets you plug in the OSD toggle, and you don't even have to remove the top plate. It just makes things super convenient for those who don't like to use the camera's auto settings. The Swift Mini is a good quality camera, vibrant colors, excellent brightness. The smaller size makes for a perfect fitment in the low profile frame, plus it allows for plenty of room so you can tilt the camera to your heart's flying desire. There is one potential issue that I came across. With the frame being so low, the camera really sticks out, and in the event of an upside down crash, your camera is likely to take the brunt of the impact. If this is somehow worrisome for you, you're not alone, and there is something that you can do. In the miscellaneous accessories, there is a GoPro mount, and it works perfect as a layer of protection for your run cam. The mount adds about 10.5 grams, and it's not really pleasing to the eye, but it does do a good job protecting the camera. Connected to the camera is Holybro's own Atlatl VTX. Atlatl? Wow, the names they come up with. Alright, let's take a look at this thing. I think for most people, the first thing that they're going to notice is this little guy. Instead of the standard IPEX connector, it uses a beefy and yes, very sexy MMCX connector. It's got a very strong connection, unlike the IPEX, where over time the connection just seems to get looser and looser. It uses 36mm mounting holes, which allows it to be installed right on top of the flight controller. Basically keeps things nice and tidy. It does also have a few special features. First of all, it's got a pit mode. This allows you to power up at a low voltage without knocking out nearby pilots. And just FYI, it boots up at 0.5 milliwatts. There are no buttons on this, so changing the channels, bands, or power scheme is all done through your transmitter, through the goggles or screen. And if you're using the Lua script, it can be done straight through your transmitter or your radio. To initiate the OSD settings for the VTX, this is for mode 2. Simply yaw left while at center throttle and pitch forward. The VTX is also able to change power schemes from 25 to 600 milliwatts. So just as a word of warning, because I didn't know this, the transmitter does arrive with pit mode turned on. Obviously you can turn it off, but if you have it on, make sure you change to a proper power scheme. During my maiden flight, I thought the reason behind my bad reception was due to the way the antenna was mounted. I didn't realize the VTX had a pit mode, let alone I was flying in pit mode. There was actually considerable thought put into the antenna's positioning. It's firmly held in place using this metal bracket, which gives it a slightly downwards angle away from the props. In this position, you really don't have to worry about the antenna getting damaged. It's clearly out of reach in the case of a crash. See? Doesn't touch the ground at all. And underneath the VTX we have another Holybro product, the Kakute all-in-one F4. This really is an awesome board. Mine came pre-flashed with firmware 3.2, which I don't believe has been officially released yet, but I've been using this on a few other quads without any issues. There are a lot of new features with 3.2, so I can understand the decision to send these out with the new firmware. Anyhow, the Kakute also has a lot of features itself. First of all, you won't need to soft mount this board. They've already done it for you. Instead of soft mounting the entire board, they went ahead and just soft mounted the gyro. I took it out for a test flight just now and I was just completely blown away. This thing is just incredibly stable, super responsive and easy to fly. Everything that I wanted the quad to do, it did it, and it did it smooth as a baby's butt. Everything just feels so precise. Honestly, I just feel so much more confident flying this thing than any other 5-incher I've ever flown. I don't think I could be more happy with the way this performs. It's got plenty of power and seriously smooth as butter. Like I said earlier, the ESCs and the flight controller together can run at max 16K, which is good enough for me, but it seems the ESCs are holding the board back because the specs say this board is capable of running at max 32K. Either way, the performance and flying experience with this quad is just incredible. It's hard to believe that it can get any better, but realistically, in a couple months, I'll probably be saying the same thing when they introduce even better advancements. Some other notable features include Betaflight OSD. There's already a PDB built in, which takes off a good chunk of weight. You got 128 megabits of black box logging storage. You got 3 UART ports that all can be used at the same time, since the USB is not tied to any of them, and the list goes on. It truly is an awesome board. Alright, so I'm just going to go over a couple things. First, the bottom of the Kopis, we have a carbon fiber battery plate. It does a good job preventing damage to your battery, but it would be even better if you were to add a couple pieces of foam to sort of cushion the repeated impacts. And then we also have some more flathead screws, sitting flush, sitting clean. I just love it. It looks so much better. There is also a rubber mat, which does a good job preventing the battery from moving around. The Kopis one is really a gem. I mean, it looks so good. I think I'm just going to use it as decoration. I'm just kidding. Let's go see how it flies. I think I've talked enough, and I think you guys could probably tell I'm in love. She really is great. I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks very much for watching. See ya.